episode of Modern Box. Thank you for joining me today. Wasn't the greatest game today, I have to admit this. As a rugby lover, I always enjoy every game that happens, but this was definitely not a classic. Shaky. Samoa go down as the bad boys of the tournament. I mean, another yellow and a red card from this game, 2 yellows from the last one. It's just some poor things, and you can see when they start to get desperate, it just doesn't. They just start to do stupid things. I mean, fine, the first yellow card, coming from the side, and he did stop penalty try. That caused 2 penalty tries. So that's pretty much the story of the second half. 2 penalty tries. Samoa tried to fight back, but couldn't cross the Scottish defence, which is good to see from Scotland. Scotland definitely had a better game and were the better team on the day. For the first 20 minutes, I'd say it was a little bit shaky from both trying to do running rugby, both of them just trying to pass the ball, and it was just knock-ons galore. I mean, we had so many handling errors, it wasn't funny. But then Scotland, definitely, I'll give them credit for starting to change and play a much more territorial game. Good positional kicking. There was a lot of, at least, trying to territorially force the Samoans into their half, and when they did, the Samoans tried to run it out every time, losing the ball. And that was pretty much the strategy for Scotland. And to be fair, they played the team that they were going, definitely playing the team. But yeah, Laidlaw's try is probably my favourite try of the game. Although, to be fair, he shouldn't have scored that. That was obviously some real class to get the space. But once Laidlaw got the ball, there were 4 Samoans around him, and neither of them could actually get it to him. That was quite impressive from him as a player, but poor from Samoa, in my opinion, from defensive-wise. Other highlights, good drop goal from Shirt Hogg. I think that drop goal almost just turned the tide of the game. From that point on, Samoa just looked like they just couldn't keep in the game. It was a nice way to end the half. And yeah, I think the fact of the matter is that Scotland at least were able to strategize and realize that the conditions were not conducive to massively running play. They did, to be fair, have some good plays and some good runs, but I think that the territorial game forced Samoa with so much pressure that every time they had a mistake in their half, they were suffering again. So I definitely think the scrums and lineouts were also a big issue with Samoa, with losing of 3 of their lineouts, and Scotland definitely dominating on their scrum when they had it, giving them a lot of opportunities. Some dumb mistakes directly kicking out also didn't help the Samoans. But I think the penalty tries just sealed the coffin, and they just looked disappointed. Fun fact, the referee scored the most points in this game. Take from that what you will. But yeah, Maitland had some great game, 90 metres run. Laidlaw, obviously, most points as a player in the game, so take that from you. Obviously kicking poles, but also the good try. Scotland definitely should take a lot from this game. I think that they definitely were able to strategize and take the conditions into account. And the first Northern Hemisphere team that, in my opinion, continued to play well in the second half. To be fair, could not actually score a try in the second half. 2 penalty tries, consider them penalty tries, as I felt they would have been anyway, so they were right choice. But yes, there's a lot of things Samoa need to work on now. This is, in my opinion, wasn't a massive must-win for them, as it was for Scotland, but still a huge upset for them. I'm not happy, I'm sure, as the Samoans for this game. They'll definitely be looking forward to the Japanese game to see if they can improve their stuff. Some of the stats, Samoa only had 77% tackle percentage, and that's definitely what brought them down. But they had pretty similar tackle counts. The possession territory was pretty similar, except for Samoa in the last 10 minutes really started to own the ball, which is what we were seeing from a lot of the Northern Hemisphere teams, where they don't seem to be able to keep the ball for the last 10 minutes. To be fair, though, the lead was so comfortable that I don't really think it was to do with the conditions. I think it was more just Scotland taking their foot off the pedal and to be done. The last penalty try was in the last 5 minutes, so it was a good run, by the way. It dived a little too early for my liking, but we'll ignore that. 512 running meters from Scotland and 279, showing again that it's obviously a large percentage of some good, strong runs from Scotland. And I think, yes, to be fair, they did still do a massive amount of running, but they did the running in the right places. Running from your own half, especially in conditions like that, trying to pass the ball in those kind of distances is just not going to work. And I felt Hogg and Russell and Laidlaw governed the kicking position. It had some stunning kicks to put Samoa under a ton of pressure, which is really good to see, and I hope they can continue that pressure throughout the tournament. Yeah, penalty count was high in this game. 10 for Scotland and 13 for Samoa, so it just shows you it was a tough one. Samoa definitely, I felt, lost some opportunities. They were definitely close a couple of times, and it's credit to the Scottish defence for that. So yeah, some to take out of the game, but not the greatest game in this cup, I have to admit. Especially the second half was not entertaining, in my opinion. Coming on to the next games, we have got the France-USA game. and then the Canada-New Zealand game. France-USA, the Northern Hemisphere teams like to be playing, Northern American teams like to be playing together on the same day for some reason. I hope this is a better day at the office for both of them. Last day was not so great, to understate it. Italy and England really putting them to the sword. The problem is that I feel, what am I saying? Italy. And I think that it's, I think, well, Italy putting Canada to sword, and England obviously putting USA to sword. The biggest thing here is New Zealand is obviously a lot better than Italy. So I'm going to talk about, let me first talk about the France-USA game. So first things first, news has now announced that they are going to be going forth to the game. There were some questions whether they weren't because of typhoon arriving, but it seems that it's died down and it's moved a little bit off the coast, so they're fine, which is good news. I think that is going to still affect the weather a little bit. It's going to be a little bit more gloomy, but probably increase the humidity, but not as much the temperature. So in the overall, it should be pretty much the same thing. The Americans, I don't know if they have an answer to the French. The French had a good game against Argentina. Obviously, it's tough to gauge at the moment, but the French have got some changes. Sad to see Demba Bamba is not playing in this tournament anymore after a thigh injury. He is quite a prospect, and I was hoping to see him in this tournament more. He was really good in the under-20s tournament, so yeah, sad loss for the tournament, but one of those things that happen. Hopefully, I wish him good recovery time. USA definitely need to I think the biggest thing they need to focus on here is, can they get their set pieces right? If they can improve their set pieces, I think they're going to stem the tide. My pick will be here, but I don't see them stemming it much. I don't know if they have an answer. They've got some talented athletes, but I'm not sure if they yet have a unit that's got the right training to perform in the set pieces. Such an essential thing in World Cup rugby. Going on to the next game, New Zealand, Canada. Same thing. Canada just didn't have their set pieces right. They were all over the place, and it was just shaky, and especially against a team like Italy, which I don't think have the world's best set piece. It's not a bad team. I mean, they play Six Nations. They play some of the best teams in the world every year, but New Zealand is a different prospect. This is going to be a beating, I'm sorry to say. I don't see it being anything less than 60 points. That's how I feel. I mean, to be fair, Namibia got a drubbing from South Africa the other day, 54 points, and Canada got effectively, I think it was 40 points against Italy game. Yeah, this is going to be a big one. So let's see if Canada can stem the tide. I've got a feeling the Barretts, so they've announced the team, and obviously all three Barrett brothers are joining. It's going to be interesting to see. I love Geordie Barrett's style, especially when he plays with his brother. Expect some more cross-kick tries. Something I've noticed in this tournament. I think there's been 9 in the last 5 games. Like, that's insane. You don't normally see this many cross-kick tries, and I think it's showing the conditions that teams are trying to effectively win the penalty, and the defending team just doesn't have the ability to really compete in that field. So yeah, it's been an impressive amount of either chip or cross-kick tries. I've got a feeling that the Barrett brothers are going to give us something impressive. And yeah, it's nice to see him. I always love Bowden at fly-half. Not when he's playing against South Africa. I don't like him in fly-half then, but other times it's nice to see him play in fly-half. Yeah, he definitely knows how to dictate a game, and I've got a feeling that's just even worse news for Canada. So I'm definitely in the 60s range on this. I can't see it being any different. So yeah, let me know your picks down below, your opinions, your thoughts, all those good things. Cheers, guys, and yeah, enjoy the break tomorrow, because obviously these games are happening on Wednesday. Enjoy the break tomorrow. If you're watching this tomorrow, enjoy the games tomorrow. You know what I mean? Cheers, guys. Have a good video. Cheers. Bye.